My name is Chloe Richardson, and these are my notes. My speech is titled, Are School Shootings Becoming the Norm? Sending your child to a school should be the easiest and most painless part of your life. Kylie Hurst conducted a survey from September 20th to October 2nd in 2022 and found that 19% of kindergarten through 12th grade parents are extremely worried about sending their child to school and there being a school shooting. There are more and more school shootings happening as time goes on, and those are causing more issues and more problems with parents, schools, students. There's just a whole new fear that has arose from all of this. I went to a public school, and we never had any school shootings, but we had plenty of threats. There was one threat that actually got us out of school, and we were not counted absent for that day. But to us, that was just something fun. We got to get out of school, hang out with our friends, go home and lay in bed. There was no big deal that we saw, because we figured nothing would happen of it, but that isn't always the case. School shootings, like I said, occur more and more, and the effects that they leave seem to only be looked at for a short period of time. When they happen, they're a big ordeal, but then as time goes on, it's just something that happened. And so, to get a little bit deeper, I will first discuss the effects and the mindset through the student's perspective during all of this. I will then show the perspective of a parent when it comes to a school shooting and their child being there or sending their children to school. And finally, I want to mention all the preventative measures that schools do and have taken over the years and now. School shootings affect so many people, but these students are seeing it and witnessing it firsthand. These students are the main targets during these school shootings most of the time. I mean, it's usually another student coming in and having a weapon and shooting the school up. Students often make jokes about this kind of thing, and it's not a funny thing, but there was an instance at my high school when this boy was in a group chat and they were at a bowling event and he was just upset or something, or just joking even, but he said something about blowing up the school and he got arrested, and luckily he got out of it and charges were dropped or whatever. But it's a serious thing that students don't always see, is that they don't always realize the severity of these incidents. Furthering this, the effects go to the parents of these children as well. And when a parent chooses a school for their child, they expect them to be safe in all aspects. Losing a child is something that nobody should ever have to go through. And these parents now have to worry about their children when they should be at the safest place for them. Choosing a school for your child should be an easy thing, and many parents today are struggling with that, whether or not they even want to send them to a public school. And private schools, at least around here, are quite expensive, and most people, I know I couldn't afford that. And then out of that 19% that was previously mentioned, the majority that make up that percent are the mothers of the families, Hispanic families, and then low-income families. And now that I have covered the effects on the people, such as the students and the parents, I want to look at what the schools have set into play that are supposed to keep our children and all these other children safe during this. The schools usually have some sort of plan installed when this sort of emergency occurs, but I want to dive into exactly what they have. Schools often start from kindergarten with safety drills that we practice, and this is an active school shooter plan, and the class turns off the lights, shuts and locks the door, and you sit on the wall closest to the door to where if there was an intruder and he was to look in, he would not be able to see anybody. And then also many schools nowadays have a security resource officer, or an SRO, and they patrol the campus. Usually they have an office setting up close to, or ours at least did, had an office close to our back doors where the students commuted from. And he always made us feel extremely safe. So, and then Blair Ames, the author of Making Schools Safe for Students from November 2019, says that officials are more concerned about shootings today. She also shares a chart that shows in 1999, the school building's doors were not locked. There were no locked doors, that you could easily get in and out if you wanted to. And then today, where it goes up to 2013, they had the most amount of locked doors, and I'm sure in 2025 at this point we have mechanical doors that lock on time, and it's changed a lot. And then to summarize the effects and the occurrences of school shootings, I would like to go back to looking at these students are experiencing things that no child should ever experience. And while some have lived through these shootings, there are some that just think it's a normal part of life that just happens, that some schools are just going to get shot up, and that shouldn't be the case. In no world should the decision to send your child to get the best education be about where they will be safe from possible shootings. And schools have practiced emergency plans for everything they can think of, but sometimes they're just things that you can't get around, some things you just can't prepare for. If school shootings are becoming far too frequent, and the effect it leaves seems to be only relevant during the time that it happens. School shootings are becoming more prevalent, but the schools are on top of things and setting safety measures in place to prevent these events from occurring anymore.